believe that that's something that Weibo, generally speaking, haven't been a big fan of. They played it twice and then never touched it again for the rest of the split. So the Jinx available, Zeri also available. They're happy to go for it this time around. Not worried about the 2 games that they did have. They've been practicing.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's not really a case of like an issue for Huanfeng. It's just it's been banned so often in the LPL. It's been absolutely nuts. But JDG responded very quickly with Yagao getting his hands on the Ahri, the Nautilus as well. So again, you're setting up for a lot of pick potential here on JDG's side, and that single target burst is definitely going to be there. And especially against something like a Zeri, that can work out brilliantly. We'll have to see what Weibo want to try and pair this with though. We've seen on into this Nautilus matchup against JDG go for that Spellbook Leona. So we might actually see the exact same thing here as he's already hovering that Leona.
We certainly could. I'm curious what Angel will go for as well. Whether they lock in a solo laner here or if Weibo are going to change their tune and go for a jungler alongside this Leona. Because remember, SofM kind of got pinched into a corner last time around in the second ban phase. So possibly could just be focusing on getting him something that he can play. But Angel was forced off of the Ahri. That's been his pick in all but 1 playoffs game so far. And I think he's just going to go for the opposite side of this matchup.
Yeah, and I think it's a good shout here for Weibo. Again, like, when you start to see, like, a Nautilus and an Ahri, you already know that JDG are going to be very much trying to play for, hey, we're going to probably be playing some sort of dive, trying to, like, facilitate the fact that we can jump in. Now, you can always pivot a little bit, especially with someone like an Ahri. Ahri can kind of fit into multiple different comps because, look, you can either go for the dive because she's got the dash in, but can also do a reasonable job in ranged compositions because she's got the peel tool as well in her ultimate. So we'll have to see, but at least if Weibo are going to go for this, like, or sorry, if JDG are going to go for this heavy dive sort of style, the comp that Weibo have are going to work wonders against us.
I feel like we're literally swapping drafts for game number 2 of the series so far, at least stylistically speaking. They're kind of going to be banned here by JDG, though. It's a good ban against TheShy. It's also somewhat of a self-ban for 369. It's by far his most played top laner of the split. That Viego that we keep on talking about, it's a signature for both of these junglers taken off of the board, as is the Lee Sin. We may continue to see these jungle bans come through.
Yeah, I think what we're going to see is like jungles from Weibo. I think JDG will pick Kanavi's jungle on this next rotation and kind of leave that blind pick for, or sorry, the counter pick for 369. It feels to me at the moment like a JDG are trying to like push TheShy onto kind of the Scion, onto these tanks, because you look at like a lot of the main picks he's played, like Gwen isn't really relevant. Jace is already banned away. You're then looking in towards things like, well, the Grave's gone, so Scion, Gragas, maybe like the Gnar, but I don't know if if TheShy really wants to try and go for that Gnar pick this early. So I feel like take your jungle here for Kanavi and leave that for 369 and give yourself a ton of opportunity.
Could get that counter pick for the top side, and I mean, we're hovering every jungler under the sun. The Kindred, a little shout out to Kanavi, his favorite pick, but there are plenty of options available. That Volibear even, that we have seen really come into the meta and be a favorite across the board, but it is going to be the Hecarim here. So very, very solid, hard engage. I mean, there are a ton of ways to start fights right now for JDG, but a Gnar locked in for TheShy.
I actually thought we might see the Gragas here for TheShy, like play into that kind of disengage, counter dive style, but going towards the Gnar kind of working out well as well, because if JDG are going to jump in on top of you, it leaves yourself with a ton of moments as this Gnar where you can try and find those big ultimates. Trundle taking us again here for SofM, just kind of going, hey, look, at least in the early stages, I can play towards this strong skirmish style, maybe look for invades, get in the face of Kanavi, especially if he's able to play off of like TheShy potentially having push in this top side, and that's where we'll probably see a little bit of the action.
Okay.
That is a Kayle.
Okay. I like this. Look, Weibo have gone, okay, it's a scaling series, is it? We'll lock in Veigar, we'll lock in Zeri, we'll have 2 damage dealers, we'll scale up forever. JDG's like, haha, you want to play scaling, do you? Well, we're going to lock in Kayle. We've got a Jinx as well. Like, it's not like JDG aren't going to be able to scale themselves. I will say, I don't know the Gnar Kayle matchup that well. I don't feel like it's a free lane like it is against some of the tanks, but even still, a lot of scaling there.
Huge amount of scaling. The biggest issue that I'm kind of seeing though is like when you lock in the Kayle, you're now kind of situating yourself of, oh, we've only got late game. And I think with the comp that has been drafted by Weibo, you actually have a good amount of room to try and like play through your top side, look for invades onto Kanavi, like set JDG behind, and actually play towards the Weibo game plan, which is big team fights, ability to play, like, if the Gnar gets super far ahead, like, Gnar can just take over that side lane against Kayle, at least in the early stages of the game. So I think you're going to have to really be on the ball here as JDG to try and, like, get that defensive vision, make sure that you're spotting out where SofM is going to be moving, because if you're playing Trundle, I'm gunning for the Hecarim. I really want to try and get into the face of this guy. And if we can play off of even like Zeri having some control on that bot side, we can make some serious plays happen here on Weibo by playing off these invades.
Yeah, plenty of opportunities to get priority for SofM, especially on the top side of the map. But down on the bottom lane, you know, Jinx can do a very, very good job of finding the priority early on. And certainly Ahri, plenty of opportunity to be able to get out of that mid lane potentially and try and set up Kanavi, and maybe just try and protect Kanavi, right? Try and stop SofM being able to go for the invades. But we'll have to wait and see, as it's Weibo Gaming versus JDG. And Weibo, we need to see more than what we did in game number 1, right? Game number 1 went for an aggressive, proactive composition. Didn't really see enough in the mid game. Fell behind the JDG with a masterclass of a late game. Just slowly but surely put that one home. This time around, JDG a bit more proactivity in their own composition. And remember last game? They got 4 Drakes back-to-back into Seoul at like 25 minutes. Like, now they've got priority. Now they've got proactivity in their composition as well. It feels like the Dragons are already gone.
Yeah, I feel like if you're looking at like where JDG can play through, it is like through mid and boss. And again, I don't see a reason why Kanavi doesn't go for like the tried and trusted JDG style of just reset at 5 minutes, go straight to Dragon. Like, Yagao can set yourself up nicely with the push that he'll have in mid lane. Hope and Missing should have a decent amount of control on that bot side. The only thing I'm worried about for JDG trying to go for that is if SofM has managed to find himself some early lead. Because I'm thinking here, if I'm SofM, right, I know I'm going to have push on top side. He may just start on this top end and look to go for an early invade onto the top half of the map for Kanavi. If that's the case, I don't know if Kanavi can really respond by invading on the opposite side, just with how weak Hecarim is in these early stages.
Yeah, that'll be one of the big questions, is this jungle interaction. How the two junglers choose to play the early game and how they choose to influence the rest of the map as well, because it has very much been like, you know, Kanavi, this whole split has been about him getting back on form and being able to be the Kanavi from 2020. Whereas I feel like for SofM, he's honestly not had that good of a split, like, especially towards the latter half of the split. It felt really, really rough for him. And then playoffs comes around, and against CDG, I mean, it was a different person. It was a different player entirely. Like, we saw the SofM that we saw back at 2020 World Championship. Good hook from Missing, denies the engage from On. Will still be a good trade coming out from Weibo with that level 2, but actually, honestly, they didn't even win that trade. But ultimately, SofM way back on form for the series against EDG. We'll see if he can look a bit better here in game number 2.
Gets a good hook there. It's On. That's too deep.
Oh, that's an ignite. That's going to be a kill. That's going to be first blood in the 2v2. I mean, that's kind of criminal, honestly, from Weibo. They should not be losing the death there.
I'm not going to lie. That was obviously an overstep from On, but I've been really impressed with JDG's bot lane. They've managed to pick up a bunch of duo kills. But Yagao, running from SofM, should get over the wall. But yeah, Hope and Missing, in their last 4 series, have picked up a duo kill in every single one of them. So, like, although that was 100% an overstep from On, I just want to give a shout out to Hope and Missing. Like, they've actually been exceptional when it comes towards their lane phase.
They really have, and it's good to see as well, because again, we're talking about Hope versus Huanfeng, like from a narrative perspective, where these two players training for a long time finally get their opportunity in 2020, and it was all about Huanfeng in 2020. Hope on that EDG roster wasn't able to find success. And now it feels like Huanfeng falling behind, and you know, that was mostly On's fault, let's be honest. It wasn't really a Huanfeng issue, but in this series, not able to have an impact so far, whereas Hope finding that solo kill in the Dragon fight, remember, as well, on the Aphelios, manages to finish Huanfeng off individually. It feels like such a great series and such a great opportunity for Hope to make it into that double elim as well. Like JDG, if they can play like they did in game number 1, they're on the cusp of making it to the top 4.
Look, I'm going to let you talk about your Hope love story at some stage later on, but I've really got to focus on this 369 Kanavi love story, because my god, has Kanavi been spending so much time in making sure that 369 is okay over the course of this series. Oh, actually On X-Flash, but yeah, Gao's out of the way. But yeah, Kanavi there, not going for the reset, actually putting himself behind again, like he did in game number 1, just to make sure 369 can pick up the wave. Now, makes a bit more sense when he's on the Kayle, but when he's on the side in the last game, he really didn't need it. It just feels like Kanavi and 369 have really grown to be like, hey, at least in the last 3 weeks of the split, this is where they're going to put a ton of their attention.
I mean, especially this game, why not, right?
Yeah.
Your bot lane's winning by itself. The mid lane is a nice matchup for Yagao, at least in the early game, where he can have that existence already. So why not just protect the Kayle, protect your late game scaling? Because, like we said, bot lane's winning by itself. They certainly don't need the help. JDG off to a flying start, but Drake is onto the map, Dagda. And it's JDG on the server, which means we have to talk about it. And you can see already, Kanavi moving down, massive prio in the bottom lane. This is going to be a 5-minute Drake.
But this is exactly what we said in the last game. Ooh, hang on.
Potential opportunity. Cleanse does come on through from Hope. Flashes away. No follow from Huanfeng. I'm a little surprised Huanfeng didn't flash for that one, honestly. Maybe could have been a kill, but Kanavi on the Drake, I think deciding they don't want to be too aggressive.
This actually messes up Kanavi on the Drake, though, because he needed that pushing bot to come across and help him. The fact that JDG end up messing up the bot lane play means that they can't take Dragon. You can see Weibo got into the vicinity now, so they have to give that up. So Hope costing JDG that bit there, just by having on with the engage.
That's what happens when us casters compliment a player immediately. Hope messes it all up. And that Drake that is so crucial to JDG's usual game plan will be denied here. And potentially an opportunity for SofM to go for that himself. Huge prio in the bottom lane. A bit of prio in the mid lane as well, especially if SofM comes into that mid lane and helps force the fact. As Angel will be able to get those stacks. I don't know if they're actually going to commit. As on TPs to the bottom lane, that famous spellbook Leona. I am loving this pick. I love that he gets to run TP. Oh, Yagao. Big opportunity in the mid lane. Whiffs the charm, though, and Angel just wanders away. SofM is here as well to protect his mid laner. Or is he going to be able to? Flash over the wall. SofM keeps him safe in the end. Now chasing at a 2v1 because TheShy has TP'd to the mid lane. Yagao, the target, forced to flash. Jump on forward. The boomerang is there. Do they have the damage? Hyper is there. And one more auto for TheShy to get the kill. Kanavi can't turn it around. And a great pickup from Weibo.
And that's how you can try and use that pressure from TheShy in the top lane. TPing to the mid lane, catching JDG out. And with Yagao missing that charm, it all falls flat. Now Weibo trying to deny JDG access to the wave.
Who says you can't TP before 14 minutes? TheShy certainly has found a way. He's found a way to use that summoner regardless. And as you say, still the advantage in that top side. The Drake not taken. Weibo not interested in that themselves. Just interested in denying it from JDG. But Kanavi will not be stopped. He's on that bottom side again.
I mean, Kanavi hasn't been able to find that impact, though. And look, Yagao tries to get this. And if the charm had landed, this would have been a kill. You can see with the Kanavi coming through, he would have been able to close that gap. But how low Angel ends up going as well, he would have gone down. But unfortunately not quite able to do so. The TP already started from TheShy. Just really nice job here from Weibo to turn this around. And it feels like so far, all the plays that JDG have tried to make have kind of backfired on them. I mean, we saw the bot lane play where Hope gets caught out, means they can't get Dragon. That sent Kanavi behind. Now they try to make a play in mid, and I was about to say Yagao's probably getting a bit fed up at mid lane with the amount of pressure he's been receiving, but they try to make one aggressive play for JDG, and it ends up backfiring.
And now, crucially, TheShy with a big lead in that top lane. He was already going to find himself a lead in that matchup. Now being able to get an early kill for himself, an extra chunk of gold, has his boots, has that half-bound axe as well, so we'll be able to really start to bully up in the top lane. And in the meantime, Herald will be started off by SofM. They had the reset from the mid lane, they've got priority from the top side, On's moved over as well, but here comes 369. I don't know if you want to be team fighting with a level 7 Kayle. I don't know if that's the play, but JDG, they're going to try and make it happen anyway. There's a Zenith Blade on his here. Huanfeng jumping over the wall as well. Yagao will walk away with his life. SofM low on HP right here. The eye is there, though, and he will take the Herald back to full HP immediately. That's the power of the Trundle right there. JDG, bit of a half contest. They left Hope in the bottom lane, though.
I think that's why they're kind of going for the half contest. They're like, hey, maybe we're trying to push you back. Maybe we're trying to go in here. But it just gives Hope at least a bit of time there to get that turret play for himself. Doesn't want to stick around, though, because you can see already Huanfeng and On had started to make their way down. So backing away from that one. And when On can swap over to Ghost, you don't want to be that way for too long, because that is what On does in these sort of situations. Still though, nice job from Weibo. Getting a low, at least the gold lead is going to even up with the turret plate being taken there. But definitely the tempo and the pressure is going to be in favor of Weibo, especially when this Rift Herald gets put down, which I imagine will probably be in the bot lane here, trying to get it for Huanfeng. I would agree that giving TheShy a little bit of extra help and getting down this tower could work out for SofM, but hang on.
Angel does get charmed this time around. Yagao trying to finish that damage off, and with a Kanavi behind the tower, that's going to be an easy pickup for JDG. Not much Angel can do about that one without a flash available. Yagao, an opportunity to potentially get a plate off of the back of the next wave as well, so nice little gank here from Kanavi.
Yep, really nice job, and just punishing the fact that Angel had no flash thanks to that earlier play, so those repeat ganks coming through clutch. And at least as well, buying space for Yagao. He can now reset, TP into mid, and maybe look to actually roam around the map, especially with Kanavi up onto this top side. Maybe they're looking for some more.
Kanavi on a ward. TheShy is willing to contest this though. He's like, hey, stay away from my ward. Drops another one. Doesn't manage to protect the control ward in the end, as Kanavi still toying with the idea, but I don't think that one's happening, buddy. It's TheShy in Mega Gnar right now. I'm not sure they even have the damage to 2v1 him, especially if he's Mega Gnar. Maybe if he's Mini though.
369 gets hit though. There's still hope for, like, again, I don't think this is worth, like, don't play around 369. You want to try and that was very close. You want to try and like keep him separate, but yeah, I don't think, like, again, all the 369 wants to do is farm waves.
Here.
Yeah.
Okay, he's now been spotted. TheShy has hop available, and Kanavi trying to get on top of him. There we go, saved the hop, and he'll get underneath the tower. Kanavi gonna go for the dive. Oh, he has the Kayle ulti, of course. He can just walk underneath the tower. That's gonna be a kill in the top side.
Oh,
and Huanfeng is just getting railed. But luckily gets the shield at the last possible second. Ignite burning onto Hope. On has to back away from this one, but he's so close to fighting a Zenith and going back in. Here comes SofM. Here comes the dive squad. Just drops a pillar. Can't actually go into the tower just yet. He's going to halt the way for the time being. As Hope and Missing realize they've got to back away from this one. Herald in the pocket of SofM, but I don't think they're going to commit.
369 and Yagao both had TP, so without the wave, it would have been pretty disastrous. Missing now moving back in to just try and stop them from getting this plate, but I think Huanfeng won't really care to be able to pick that one up. And nice job from Weibo. Like, again, kind of seeing, hey, they're putting a lot of pressure towards 369 in this top lane. If we can actually respond elsewhere, that's where we'll be successful. This Rift Herald, though, about to time out. SofM, you got to plunk that somewhere.
Yeah, he certainly does. Might just end up dropping it in a lane from base at this rate, as not much left on that one. We'll see where he ends up dropping it. Could go towards that top side, because let's be honest, there's a lot of damage done onto that tower already. Almost 2 plates taken, so TheShy and SofM could finish that off.
I don't want him to go topside here, because the thing that with 369 is, like, he wants to sit back and farm his Kayle. If you end up having this extended lane where 369 can freeze the wave at his own turret, that just plays into 369's hands. So you actually kind of want to have an extended laning phase here for Weibo in this topside, because then you can have SofM look for dives, look for plays.
Hope versus Huanfeng, 1v1 on the bottom side, but On is here as well. Solar Flare comes on down. There's the slow, there's the damage, and Huanfeng grabs himself a kill. That's the Triforce spike that we all know and love. The Herald got the charge in the mid lane. I don't think Angel got any of the gold there. I think that all went over to SofM.
Yeah, 3 swords versus a quiver. There's no way you're going to win that, Hope. And especially with no similar spells, On is just able to make his way down and finish that one off. So JDG, this is where we're seeing, like, high kills, but starting to creep up in those deaths as well. As just bits of mistakes are coming through here. The turret, as you can see there, did get the charge on it from the Rift Herald, so at least some plays going to Angel, but I don't think it's going to be too much of an issue here for JDG to try and defend. It's more about looking at that second Rift Herald.
Oh, TheShy's in trouble. Has flash this time. Hop available, I assume. There it is. Hops away. Flashes from the fear, but he's about to turn Mega. No, he's not. The flash from 369 to shut him down. And I never thought I would see it. But ladies and gentlemen, we have a strong side Kayle on our screen right now.
I never thought we'd get to this position, but I suppose this is LPL playoffs. Anything can happen. As 369 making this Kayle pick work. It's coming out really well. And the thing is, TheShy was supposed to be able to control this lane in the early stages, But when you're starting to approach level 11, you start to get that range coming through for the Kayle. You get a ton of extra damage. Like, Kayle can actually do work at this stage. And let alone as we start to creep in towards that level 16 mark, she's just going to be unhandleable for TheShy. So you have to start looking at, like, hey, can we get some pressure up here? Can we try and slow the pace of this Kayle? Because right now she's sitting with a 300 gold lead and she's happy out.
Yeah. And once again, we have to return to that conversation of 369. Famously unflexible, right? Famously has signature picks that he just wants to pick in all scenarios. Criticized on top esports, and now moves over to JDG. It's like he's a different man. Still playing the carries, don't get me wrong. He is more willing to play tanks, but going for these counter picks and being set up by his team. JDG playing towards 369 to make sure he can control the game.
And you got to say as well, for 369, it's got to feel kind of good, right? A lot of people going, oh, you know, Top Esports won the trade deal in the offseason with 369 and Zoom swapping, and Zoom's now a bench warmer. So for 369, it's got to feel kind of good for him to be like, look, this is what I'm bringing to the table. We were third in the league. How can you try and compete with JDG at this stage?
That's the question. On has Ignite available off of his spellbook right here and jumps forward with the Eclipse, keeps himself alive. Solar Flare onto 3 here. Rocket is going to be the answer. That's going to be Kayle used very early in the fight. Yagao going in onto 4. And in the meantime, SofM grabs the Herald for himself. It's 5v5 still as JDG unsure if they want to commit to this one. Trying to back away now is TheShy trying to turn Mega. There's a fear across the team though. The turnaround from JDG. 1 kill on the books. SofM, the next target is JDG playing this beautifully at range. And 369's level 11. He's started to exist as a champion now.
Yeah, you can see with that extra AoE damage on the range, he's actually churning out that damage. TheShy thinking about maybe doing some work here, but JDG, they don't get the Rift Herald, but they get the team fight, and now they can get themselves a first dragon.
And I will say, this as their first dragon, this is more than 10 minutes later than their average at this point in the game. They usually get that dragon at about 6 minutes time. It's 16 on the clock as they get their first here, but even still control for them, right? 1,500 gold lead. They've got that Drake, and crucially, a massive lead on a Kayle. And Dagda, I'm just going to ask you straight up, like, I've heard the tales of these late game Kayles. I didn't even intend to rhyme that, but like, is this now just doomed? Is Kayle so strong that with a lead at this point in the game, is it just over for Weibo?
It's not completely over. It just makes it very difficult for them to operate, especially as you get towards like the late game. The biggest issue, as you can see here, is like when you try to turn onto someone with Weibo, that ultimate is doing a ton of work for JDG. So like Kanavi can kind of go in with Wild Abandon, knowing that he's going to have that ult to keep him safe. It makes Angel's job very hard to try and time when he's going to have that ultimate. And when you've got so many moving parts on JDG's side, trying to control that as Weibo is kind of getting a bit nuts when you don't have the guaranteed, hey, we can pick this person off with Angel and then turn our focus to the next one. Weibo as well, just to point out, didn't get that Rift Herald, it didn't get picked up, and now JDG are punished.
Dive in the bottom side, 369 using his ultimate to keep himself safe as TheShy is just going to go aggressive onto missing here. Gets the hyper proc and will use the Mega Gnar just to escape. 3 people bot from the side of JDG. And no response anywhere on the map from Weibo. On was resetting. You can see SofM just arriving on the same side of the map right now, so there will be no counterplay unless... Oh, this is a replay. It was dodged by Yagao.
Yeah, I think the big problem there was 369 ended up tanking that tower far longer than he really hoped for, and ended up having to back out of that play on the bottom end. Nice dodge from Yagao on the picture, but yeah, coming back to the team fights, I really got to try and see now if 369 is going to be able to kind of get like picked off before the fight starts. Because yes, these Kayles are terrifying, but they're also very, very squishy. And when you're looking, oh, hang on.
Wait a second, on! What are you doing, buddy? Why are you in the river by yourself? Solar Flare, maybe a turnaround here. TheShy moving in. He's about to turn Mega. You said they needed to pick the Kayle, and pick the Kayle they will. On grabs himself the shutdown as an engage in the mid lane as well. Pillar of Filth is there. Hope trying to escape as Angel jumps on forward. Gale forced to keep Hope safe, though. It looks like no pick in the mid lane.
The Shirelia's Reverie from Angel. I didn't even cop that. I thought he'd gone for the Everfrost. I was like, why is this Gordo moving so quickly? Trying to see if he could get in, but ends up getting caught on the chomper, so can't finish off the low health Hope with that ultimate. But Weibo picking up wins across the board. Terror in bot will be responded on the top side, but plays in mid. the pick onto the Kayle, and kind of demonstrating the problem that Kayles have is that even when they get these leads, they are still super squishy. And when you've got the amount of CC available on Weibo, if they can get onto 369, that's where there's going to be issues, and why, even if JDG have this lead, they're not out of the woods yet.
Yeah. I just want to take a second here, Dagda, while we've got a lull in the game, to talk about how mental Weibo are with their builds. On just very deep trying to get vision. Honestly, I can't believe that this ended up being a positive play for Weibo.
Yeah, it's just Leona super tanky, able to get picked off here. Well, Nerdy gets picked off, but actually manages to turn around with TheShy coming through. But go on, finish your point. This is fine. We all know that Kayle dies.
Yeah, well, you know, there was a replay on the screen. I just want to, like, on with his spellbot Kayle, you've got TheShy in the top lane, who notoriously builds a bit weird. SofM, literally a scientist himself. Angel with this weird Veigar build. I feel like this whole team from Weibo, they just love their wacky builds. They never build normal things. I mean, even Huanfeng last game just refusing to build Armor Pen is kind of wacky in of itself. Like, this is just such a strange team.
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons I love him so much.
Even SofM this game, going with the Gourd Drinker Trundle again, this has kind of become a staple, but I do agree with what Ox said the last day. I actually don't like Gourd Drinker when you're not in amongst a ton of people where you can get value from the Gourd Drinker, because when you look at JDG, ton of range on Hope, Yagao, even 369, so actually being in the thick of things where you're going to get value from this Gourd Drinker isn't really there, but we'll have to see, because in 30 seconds Dragon is up and available. JDG pushing sides will be able to TP in, as Angel's actually going to get there first.
Yeah, just going to be a reset from Yagao, and then he'll be able to TP over as well. Full group, though, from Weibo. They want to go for this straight. They want to fight for this objective. 12 seconds until it's up onto the map. There's a TP very deep from Yagao, but I don't think Weibo will be able to punish that. Is now grouping up. Weibo in control, but Vision is there with the Scuttlecrab and a ward from the side of JDG. Dagda, I think we've got a 5v5 on our hands. SofM on the objective for now, but backing away. TheShy about to turn Mega. Keep your eyes on that Yordle. He has Flash available. Dragon getting low. SofM in the pit. Flashes. Does manage to get the Drake somehow. Mega Gnar now in play, but TheShy can't find an opportunity. There he is, jumping forward. Finds two. And Huanfeng here on the resets. There's two for Weibo so far. 2 for 1 as Hope trying to finish the damage himself. He's trying to finish these health bars, but he's low on mana. Jumps over the wall. Health bars low. Can Hope do it? Huanfeng is here to shut him down. Angel with another. And that's 2 games in a row where the Drake fight goes the way of Weibo and they get 4.
And now they'll get Baron as well. Brilliant fight from Weibo. Able to get that big ult from TheShy, the Gnar, the key difference maker there. And now Weibo will take the rewards of both objectives.
Honestly, like, Weibo early game, not that great. Weibo late game, not that great. But Weibo at specifically 20 minutes. This team is deadly. I don't know what it is, but every single game I watch, it feels like Weibo just somehow miraculously win a fight at the 20-minute mark and turn the game on its head.
I mean, that was crucial for Weibo. So many moving parts here, but keep your eyes on TheShy here, right? He manages to get this big ultimate off, and Yagao was doing a good line of threat, or good time of threatening the back line. And you think, hey, look, maybe we can make this work, but because 369 ends up using that ultimate onto Kanavi, Kanavi doesn't really get much value out of it. So it means that when 369 wants to go aggressive here, he actually ends up getting caught out, not having that ult available for himself. Kanavi's still not really doing anything with the second lease of life that he got, and even there you can see Hope not quite able to finish off SofM as he just ticks up in health. It's just a kind of a sad time across the board there for JDG, and this is why I said, like, yes, 369 is ahead, but a Kayle isn't an automatic win condition. She is very scary, especially when she hits level 16, but you still have to play these fights out well, and it can be tough against what Weibo have.
See, this is why we have you, Dagda, because I'm a monkey brain play-by-play. I see Kayle, I see a lead in the early game, I panic. But apparently Weibo, they're on your side. They're aware that this Kayle ain't everything just yet, as they're looking good in this one. With the Baron, you can see TheShy pushing off in the bottom side of the map. 369, though, has an opportunity to get onto a tier 2 in the top side of things, and there's no TP available for Weibo right now. If JDG can deny any rotation, this will be a tier 2 taken.
Yeah, and I feel like this is what JDG are just going to continue to do now. Leave 369 off on his own to try and take these towers, like accelerate him to level 16 as soon as possible. TheShy is answering though and has a 2-level lead over 369, so you do have to be careful about who you end up facing this Kayle up against, because TheShy, pretty damn scary with that Wit's End built as well. He's built to deal with Kayle.
He's built to deal with anyone that will come his way, honestly. I'm not sure anyone can 1v1 TheShy at this point in the game. But I'm not sure anyone from JDG will try and 1v1 TheShy this game. They have been intelligent in the way that they play. So let's talk, you know, we've been talking about how Weibo can deal with this Kayle. Let's turn the conversation around and talk JDG for the next few minutes. Like, they haven't been able to stack the Drakes like we're so used to seeing them. How do they play out the rest of this game? Is it just waiting for neutrals? Is it waiting to fight around Baron and maybe Elder later in the game?
I think their best bet is still fighting around neutrals. I think they just have to be more careful about how they use this Kayle. Honestly, I think 369 should be selfish and try and keep it for himself, or maybe even use it for Hope. But wait, Hope only on 2 items, whereas you're looking at like 2.5, probably the guts of a 3rd one completed for 369 before this next dragon fight. I really think that you should just kind of hold off, use it for yourself, and try and keep this Kayle DPS up in the fight for as long as possible. Because you can see it last time used on Kanavi, it didn't do anything.
Oh, 369 is so low. He's already had to use his ulti long before a dragon fight kicks up. On finishes him off. We got Assassin Leona. TheShy will be answered. It's 1-for-1 so far as On stuck in the play. He'll go down. Kanavi the next target though. And here comes Huanfeng. Here comes SofM over the wall to try and finish these kills off. Flame Chompers ruins the play though. Weibo only find 2, but they found an opportunity to take more.
On somehow manages to get at the back of that fight as well, so Weibo will manage to successfully collapse onto this top wave. Now they've got a TP from On into the mid lane as well, so then they can keep that push up if they want to, but Weibo are coming out so far ahead on every single play. Yagao! God, you gotta be so careful.
They can't quite finish the tower, but they can get a tier 2 in the mid lane here. And again, more gold funneled into Weibo. It's now going to be about a 5,000 gold lead after that tower goes down. Very positive for Weibo. 15 seconds on the Drake, though, and I think Weibo need to reset. This could be an opportunity for JDG if they can rush it, but I'm not sure they'll be confident.
I think they should be able to rush it and get it, but it's not the end of the road for Weibo. Like, it's only 2nd dragon, but 369 here was trying to bait in TheShy. It was like, hey, I've got reinforcements we're going to get here first, but JDG not expecting On to be there. They've lost entire control of this top side. 2 Weibos with no vision there. They don't realize how quickly Weibo were able to collapse. And JDG, Kanavi's caught again.
Oh no, this is a big opportunity as he will get out. Slow from that laser out from Huanfeng. In the meantime though, TheShy taking that Drake. That's 3 Drakes now for Weibo, and it feels like everything going their way. We are 2 levels away though, Dagda, from that fateful moment where Kayle hits level 60. We've not really talked about it all game long, but 369 getting close. If he can get to 3 items, get to level 16, that is where the Kayle really starts to become a nightmare in the team fight. So feels like Weibo in 5 minutes time, when that next Drake comes up, they will be against the level 16 Kayle, and that will be the true test.
It's unfortunate that JDG have kind of gone for this, hey, we're going to group style. I mean, it's traditional JDG, but it does mean 369 is a little bit behind in terms of the level 16. If you look at TheShy, he's already hit it, but level 15 now hit. They are so close. And what the problem is, you've only got 4 minutes until the next dragon. So 369, if he just full commits to, hey, I'm going to farm everything that exists on this map, will hit level 16, but you're still, like, you're in dire straits here as JDG, because again, a Mountain Soul with 3 Mountain Dragons already is going to help out Weibo so much in these fights.
And not to mention that, like, again, we haven't talked about Angel. I feel like this happens every game where Angel kind of gets ignored a bit, but this Veigar build, we talked about the Mikhails early on, but now he's finished off that Archangels as well as a Void Staff. Like, this Veigar is no slouch. He's been stacking AP all game long. If he goes for a Death Cap as his next item, he's comfortably going to one-shot Hope, but he'll get into the territory of start to one-shot people like Kanavi.
Yeah, and that's why we see the Everfrost build usually. It's like, you don't really care about your damage on Veigar because you're going to get it regardless just because of your passive. So you're able to go for these more utility style builds. The Everfrost kind of situates itself as, hey, I've got more CC and kind of playing to that style. But Weibo, they realized, look, we want to try and like have a bit more of a dive potential and the ability to chase down JDG. So the Shurelias makes a ton of sense here, especially if you're able to like use that on towards TheShy when he's mega. Like having this Gnar with the ability to chase down JDG is going to do so well.
On is fearless. Just Hex splashes over the wall, deals with the ward, throws his solar flare at the JDG members nearby. He's like, hey, I'm not here just trying to contest a vision. I'm here to start a fight. TheShy versus 369 in the bottom side of the map. 369 has his ulti. Level 15 Kayle just ain't enough. And Yagao TP to the wrong side of the map. Weibo immediately start this dragon off. We got to see Kanavi go for the 50-50. Are we really going to 50-50 this? It looks like it as he goes into the pit. But SofM says no. Kanavi rooted in place. You got nowhere to go. They're making glue out of his feet.
And with that Baron going over to Weibo, you can see that timer in the bottom right side of your screen. There's bounty o'clock for JDG. Weibo are so firmly in control of this game. They're trying to make a pick onto TheShy. They're trying to find some way to get back into it, but I don't know if it's going to matter.
SofM's here. TheShy needs to try and back away. Does flash and a TP now from Angel. That's a very deep TP for a Veigar, but I don't think he minds that much because he's got a Zhonya's. And now Weibo clean in house. TheShy with 2 as he jumps forward in Mega Gnar. Hope forced to flash away. The boulder to slow 369. Has no ulti available, but doesn't quite get caught by the stun. The chase down is insane though. They just don't stop. There's no stopping the hype train as Weibo will find themselves a game in the series. Surely this is the end of things as they stop the horsey in his tracks. You just can't finish anyone off. And Angel grabs 2 for himself. Weibo pushes to a 3rd game, and they show us that they are more than was bargained for from the regular season, that this playoffs form against EDG can remain.
And this was what we needed to see from Weibo in the early stages. When you're up against the Kayle, finding the moments to shut down JDG, and a huge amount of that was thanks to On in these early stages. Like the engages on towards Hope shuts down the ability to go for Dragon. We then see them move in towards the mid lane and helping out to shut down Yagao as well. It just gave so much room to JDG, and when you're still kind of like counting and biding your time on JDG's side to get this Kayle to level 16, Weibo are in a great spot then to make sure that they're able to play through that strong mid game, play through their mid game fights, and get those objectives that they need.
I'm telling you, 20 minutes on the clock, that's the magical Weibo hour. That's like a, you know, there's rogue time in the LEC where they throw the game. Well, there's Weibo time here where that's the one opportunity where Weibo will get back into the game. And honestly, it sounds like a meme, but it happens so often that it's like even game number 1. That was the one moment for Weibo where it looked really good. It was the 3rd dragon fight at about 20 minutes, and they managed to pull the fight off, managed to get 4 kills, and managed to turn the game in their favor temporarily. This time around, though, they managed to convert more off the back of that 20-minute fight.
Yeah, and I think part of the reason was JDG trying to opt into these team fights before they were really ready. Like, you could see them really struggling to get themselves into a position so that then they could fight with this Kayle, and Nerdy worked out once or twice, but unfortunately wasn't quite able to get it across the finish line. And the difference maker there was that TheShy was better situated to deal with these fights in the mid game, was able to put himself off into a side lane for longer, so he actually kept the level advantage and the pressure advantage over 369, and just meant that JDG couldn't get the Kayle to a position where they could actually fight with her and try to set her up for success.
Really fantastic stuff coming out from Weibo, and you can see TheShy doing massive damage. Also, 2-4-0-0-0, that's so clean. I don't know if I've ever seen that before. TheShy, he's a bit of a perfectionist, it has to be said. Very tidy gameplay, but again, really, really bullying. And we saw the build that TheShy went for. There was a lot of damage available to him there, and it felt like so many opportunities. Like the 1v1 between him and 369 in the bottom side, like, he was doing a good amount of damage, finally got caught out, but then the next play, 369 doesn't have his ult available, and TheShy just starts wailing on him.
Yeah, but you could even see in side lanes, every time that 369 was showing up, it was actually still going even in the super late game. So it meant that you didn't have pressure on side lane like you were hoping for JDG. Your Kayle hadn't got to a point where she was comfortable team fighting, and then you were just having like the earlier spike coming through from the Zeri, the Gnar. I mean, even to be honest, the Trundle as well, making Kanavi's life a hell as well in these fights because he's stealing all those resistances. So yeah, there's just a mid-game spike that JDG didn't really play around, and Weibo punished them.
Yeah, Beautifully done here by Weibo, and JDG have to go back to the drawing board. And I'm glad, because I'm not going to lie, I saw the draft and I thought maybe this was going to be a very strong start to the series from JDG. It's one apiece, though.